Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, proud to support the mission of KPBS and privileged to serve San Diego clients. Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, helping homeowners maintain drain, heating, and cooling systems since 1978. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Good evening. It's Wednesday, September 30th. Thank you for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. A rally is underway right now at the county building. Local political and business leaders calling for more county control over businesses to reopen. Today, 2 more deaths from COVID-19 and 194 new cases were reported. While much of the focus has been getting businesses back open, the county is putting new resources into getting children back into classrooms. KPBS reporter Tanya Thorne has the details.
San Diego County continues to meet COVID metrics, keeping the county in the red tier as testing becomes more available. As schools begin to reopen, testing for students and staff will be available as early as tomorrow.
We know over the last few weeks the focus of attention has been around the state levels, the red tier, the purple tier, and the impact that it will have on businesses. But we have continued a very diligent and focused effort to try and support our schools. Our schools are trying to reopen safely in a responsible way.
4 dedicated testing sites for school personnel will be available beginning with Chula Vista and San Diego tomorrow. No appointment is needed and wait times range between 5 to 10 minutes. The county will be working on making other dedicated school personnel testing sites available, including working with CAL FIRE to have testing sites in rural community schools. Free county testing for children has been expanded to school-aged children in grades K through 12 starting tomorrow. Other testing sites for children and parents include Rady's Children's Hospitals.
All of them as to being no appointment drop-in sites. So trying to make it as easy and accessible to San Diegans.
State guidelines have allowed the county to reopen more than 100 playgrounds today throughout San Diego County, with safety guidelines still in place. But business owners are still pushing for fewer restrictions and are worried about going backwards.
No one knows how to plan properly for backwards. I mean, if we will go from 10 to 25 to 50 and we get back on track at a nice rapid manner and get things back on track, I can plan my business accordingly and my employees can plan their lives accordingly.
Tanya Thorne, KPBS News.
San Diego State University and San Diego Unified School District will soon open their doors to students. KPBS education reporter Joe Hung explains which students will be able to return to campus.
San Diego Unified, the county's largest school district, will bring thousands of high-need students back to campuses starting October 13th. During this first phase of reopening, teachers will assess how much students have fallen behind, and they'll work to mitigate the growing achievement gap amid the pandemic.
We've identified about 12,000 elementary school students who we believe need some form of in-person learning.
Richard Breyer is a school board member at San Diego Unified. He said teachers will make appointments with their students.
Appointments can look different. I mean, it could be, we're going to make an appointment for you to come in for an hour and have an assessment. Or it could be that, we want to develop a schedule with the student where they're essentially in class all day, every day.
Brewer said that in the next phase of reopening, the district hopes to reopen all elementary schools and welcome back high-needs middle and high school students. The district has not yet set a date for the second phase. Brewer said it would depend on COVID-19 infection rates in the county as well as the success of the first phase. Also, San Diego State University announced Tuesday that a small number of in-person classes would resume starting Monday, October 12th. The university moved all courses online after COVID case numbers soared among students during the first weeks of the semester. The courses moving back to in-person include mostly labs and other hands-on classes. The university also announced that it would require testing every 14 days for the approximately 2,100 students participating in these classes. Joe Hong, KPBS News.
There's a growing child care crisis in our county and statewide as daycare centers close due to COVID-19. KPBS reporter Claire Tregeser says a union of domestic workers is asking the state for help.
5,000 providers. Monday never came. Lynn James is a childcare provider in San Diego. She says businesses like hers need more help from the government.
And from those 5,000 more children, they have no daycare. It's gone. Those families, many of essential workers, had nowhere to send their children.
State rules put in place at the onset of the pandemic have forced childcare providers to cut class sizes while costs for additional staffing and cleaning supplies have gone up. Now, nearly 7 months later, many are going out of business. Childcare Providers United, a project of the union United Domestic Workers, says 5,000 providers statewide have had to close. They're asking for additional funding from the government.
Governor Newsom must act today.
A study from UC Berkeley found that in Southern California, 62% of childcare programs experienced a loss of income due to low attendance or families not paying the fees, and 81% made staffing changes, including laying off employees or cutting benefits. Miran Algori, a childcare provider in Chula Vista, says more centers will close soon.
Families and providers need Governor Gavin Newsom and state legislators to intervene. We need them to intervene and help stabilize childcare immediately before it's too late.
The San Diego County Board of Supervisors created a $25 million grant program for local childcare providers. The money is expected to be awarded soon. Claire Tregesser, KPBS News.
It's a debate no one will soon forget for all the wrong reasons. Today, President Trump said he doesn't know who the Proud Boys are after saying last night that the far-right group should, quote, stand back and stand by. Here's Caitlin Collins.
I've always denounced any form of any of that.
After refusing to explicitly condemn white supremacy and right-wing extremists in last night's debate, President Trump declined to denounce them once again today.
I don't know who the Proud Boys are. They have to stand down, let law enforcement do their work.
Trump now saying he doesn't know the Proud Boys, a far-right group that's endorsed violence, which he refused to denounce last night.
Who would you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud Boys? Stand back and stand by.
Trump quickly pivoting from his actions to Joe Biden.
Now, Antifa is a real problem because the problem is on the left, and Biden refuses to talk about it.
The fallout from President Trump's frenzied debate performance was felt throughout Washington today.
It sounds like President Trump was President Trump.
Despite Trump saying today that he received rave reviews,
we've gotten tremendous reviews on it.
Privately, CNN spoke with several Trump officials, advisors, and supporters who acknowledged that he was too aggressive, didn't tout enough accomplishments, and lacked a clear line of attack on his opponent.
There's nothing smart about you, Joe.
Even those who helped him prepare for the debate, like former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, conceded that he came on too strong.
It was too hot. I mean, listen, you come in and decide you want to be aggressive, and I think that was the right thing to be aggressive, but that was too hot.
Any chance for decorum during last night's debate was quickly dashed as the president interrupted Biden at nearly every chance he got.
Will you shut up, man? Listen, who protect people?
Mr. President, I'm the moderator of this debate, and I would like you to let me ask my question, and then you can answer your question.
The chaotic nature of the debate driving the Commission on Presidential Debates to issue a statement saying last night's debate made clear that additional structure should be added to the format of the remaining debates to ensure a more orderly discussion of the issues.
And that was Caitlin Collins reporting. Now, the commission has not outlined exactly what changes it will institute. The next presidential debate is set for October 15th and will take the form of a town hall with questions from voters. And as we get closer to the general election, political campaigns and their ads are heating up. And in some cases, campaigns are accusing their opponents of telling falsehoods. That's happening in the race for the 53rd Congressional District. KPBS reporter Matt Hoffman takes a look at the ad in question.
Meet Sarah Jacobs.
A new ad for the Georgette Gomez campaign is targeting her Democratic rival Sarah Jacobs, who is the granddaughter of Qualcomm founder Irwin Jacobs. Disclosure, Irwin Jacobs is a major donor to KPBS.
Sarah's spending millions of her family's fortune to buy a seat in Congress. Sarah supports Trump's tax cuts for corporations.
The ad cites an interview Jacobs did with the San Diego Union Tribune's editorial board back in January. During that interview, Jacobs did tell the board she favored lowering corporate taxes, but
I was not in favor of the Republican tax bill that raised our deficit. I agree that we should have lowered corporate tax rates. I think we lowered them too far.
The Jacobs campaign is calling on Gomez to take down the ad, calling it false and misleading.
The first LGBTQ Latina council president.
The Gomez campaign says there's no reason to pull down the ad, saying the cornerstone of Trump's tax bill was cutting corporate taxes, and Jacobs is on the record saying they should be lowered.
Georgette Gomez, the only candidate endorsed by the Democratic Party.
The new ad comes just after the San Diego County Democratic Party for a second time called out Jacobs for using the phrase, quote, endorsed by California Democrats. The party says that falsely implies Jacob has the endorsement of the state party, which has endorsed Gomez. A poll from just last week shows Jacobs has a double-digit lead over Gomez, but nearly 40% of those surveyed still say they were undecided. Matt Hoffman, KPBS News.
Coming up, our media partner iNewsSource breaks down the changes you should know about if you plan to vote by mail this November. Happening now, for the first time in 14 years, the San Diego Padres are in the playoffs. And while it's not like any other postseason we've experienced, the Friar faithful are showing their support. KPBS reporter Jacob Ayer is live outside Petco Park. Jacob.
I'm here at Petco Park for the first postseason game between the Padres and the Cardinals. It's a best-of-3 series which began today, just after 2 p.m. At the moment, Padres fans are gathering at local businesses to support their team. The Padres are currently trailing 6-4 in the top of the 7th inning against the Cardinals. We spoke with some Padres fans earlier today about what it means to see their team in the postseason.
It is awesome to see him back in the postseason. It's a little bittersweet because I would give anything to be inside Petco, but I will be very close, within a block, rooting them on from as loud as I can.
The next game against the Cardinals will take place tomorrow, also at 2 p.m. And if necessary, the final game of the 3-game series will take place at 7 p.m. on Friday. While fans are not allowed in the stands, the team is hosting drive-in watch parties at the Lexus lot near the stadium, and tickets for the viewing have already sold out. Fans have also been gathering at local bars and restaurants to cheer on their team.
It's definitely been a challenge, but we're taking it day by day, and you're starting to see, all of the fans start to come out again. Obviously, you can see we're starting to pick up already for this first game.
All of Major League Baseball's wildcard games will be played at the home ballpark of the higher seed, meaning the Padres will be at Petco Park for the entirety of this first series. Petco Park is also slated to host one of 2 American League Division Series and the American League Championship Series for this year's MLB postseason. And one fan has a bold prediction for what will happen for the Padres in this year's playoffs.
Let's get that big cake. That's what Fernando said, right? We're going to get our pitchers back in the next round, going to beat the Dodgers next round, go all the way. Why not? It's 2020. We can do it.
With the shortened MLB 60-game season, the Padres are one of 16 teams to make the playoffs in 2020. Jacob Ayer, KPBS News.
Thanks so much, Jacob. It was nice while it lasted, but starting tomorrow, you'll have to pay for parking in the city of San Diego. Tomorrow, October 1st, will start a 2-week grace period. Now, during that time, if you park on a street sweeping area, don't feed the meter or ignore the curb time limits, you'll get a written warning. Then it's back to full enforcement October 15th. The city suspended parking fines back in March because of the stay-at-home order.
Hot, dry conditions continue in our area right through Thursday. Winds will be lighter, and then we'll start to see the onshore flow return on Friday. So that means a few more in the way of nighttime and morning clouds. So Friday into the weekend. But even though that onshore flow returns, our temperatures are going to remain above average through the weekend. It just won't be as hot, but it stays hot into Thursday. So the heat advisories do continue. Hydrate. Get the air conditioning if you can. As we take a look at tonight's lows, 59 Oceanside, 69 in San Diego, 63 Escondido, and 68 in El Cajon. Ramona's at 59, Borrego Springs 75, and Mountain Laguna at 56. Well, as we take you Thursday into Friday, there it is, the high pressure above normal temperatures, but that onshore flow returning Friday into the weekend. Temperatures coming down just a couple of notches. Okay, just a couple of notches. As we take a look at tomorrow, yes, it's still hot. Oceanside 88, San Diego 88, Escondido 99, El Cajon 103, Ramona 102. It's hot. And Borrego Springs 108 and Campo at 98 degrees. Here's our weekend weather. And you can see it stays hot in the interior, and we'll still be quite warm. Still have ridge of high pressure in control. Notice temperatures do start to come down a little bit as we get that return of the onshore flow, but still above average here, close to 80. And as we head to the inland sections, it's hot. But then temperatures come down a little bit over the weekend, just not as hot. And as we head to the mountains, quite warm, temperatures trending down. And in the deserts, well, it's very hot here, but it won't be as hot as we take you to Sunday and Monday. Lots of sunshine. And for KPBS News, I'm meteorologist Mark Biancuso.
You may have seen smoke from wildfires burning in the region today. We can tell you that none are threatening San Diego County homes. A large vegetation fire is burning in Mexico. That's approximately 7 miles south of the border. Smoke is visible in the East County, and a 50-acre fire is burning on Camp Pendleton. Forward progress has been stopped on that fire. Firefighters from here in San Diego are heading up north to lend an extra hand in battling the glass fire. As Daryl Forges reports, it's already been a record-shattering wildfire season, and it's still weeks away from ending.
Smoke billowing, fire torching the West Coast. The latest, the glass fire in Napa and Sonoma counties and the Zog fire in Shasta County are raging out of control in the northern part of California since igniting on Sunday, bringing more distress to a fire season that has already produced 5 of the 6 largest wildfires in the state's history.
I looked back and the fire was coming over the mountain. I was on the phone with my son and I told him, I said, Skyhawk is doomed. They can't stop this fire.
Some evacuees lost everything.
12 vehicles, 2 cabins. It's been in my family for 105 years.
It's gone.
Yep, all gone.
The glass fire has consumed more than 48,000 acres and destroyed dozens of buildings. It's only 2% contained. The Zog fire is just 7% contained and has ravaged through over 50,000 acres. The fire has claimed the lives of 3 people, destroyed around 150 structures, and is threatening more than 1,500 more. Fire teams are working to keep the flames from moving north towards Santa Rosa.
We're going to be in this for a couple of weeks is my take on this, which means it's going to be kind of long and it's going to be painful for those that are dealing with it.
Both blazes giving firefighters a headache during an already tumultuous fire season that's still weeks away from its potential end. Daryl Forges, KPBS News.
Today, San Diego environmentalists are cheering supervisors who decided to start over on developing a climate action plan. The last plan was rejected by a California judge last December. The court said the counties didn't meet California Environmental Quality Act rules. The Sierra Club's Richard Miller hopes the defeat of the county's third climate action plan changes the county's approach.
I think that this is a day of reckoning, that they realize that they are going to have to bring in other parties to this, that they're going to have to open this up for communities and start actually listening to what we're trying to ask them to do.
The latest plan failed to pass judicial muster because it relied on carbon offsets for new developments that are outside of the county. With the election just over a month away, major changes are in the works due to the pandemic. iNewsSource reporter Mary Plummer has this preview on what to expect if you plan to vote by mail.
Starting Monday, check your mailbox. Unlike in prior elections, all San Diego County registered voters will now receive a vote-by-mail ballot automatically. Ballots need to be postmarked by Election Day. A new state law allows extra time for them to arrive and be counted up to 17 days after the election. If you don't want to mail them, there will be more than 100 drop-off locations. You can also bring your ballot and vote in person if you'd rather, but check your sample ballot for a location near near you. There will be far fewer polling places this year. As a reminder, you don't need a stamp. The return envelopes are postage paid. For KPBS, I'm iNews Source reporter Mary Plummer.
The deadline to register to vote and get a mail ballot is October 19th. For a complete guide to all the election changes this year, go to inewssource.org. iNews Source is an independently funded nonprofit partner of KPBS. Trick-or-treating is not officially banned this Halloween, but San Diego County public health officials are not recommending it. Because of the public health order, no parties or gatherings with people outside your household are allowed. Same goes for even outdoor carnivals and fall festivals. Instead of going door to door, the county suggests one-way trick-or-treating or leaving individually wrapped goodie bags for children to pick up curbside. Pumpkin patches, drive-through parades, and online costume contests were also recommended. COVID has forced film festivals to postpone and regroup online. For San Diego, that means the busy Fall Film Fest season has become even more crowded. KPBS film critic Beth Accomando previews the GI Film Festival and San Diego Italian Film Festival that both kick off tomorrow.
The GI Film Festival and the San Diego Italian Film Festival both have strong perspectives to share. The GI Film Festival showcases films by, for, and about military and veterans. It has an advisory committee that includes veterans.
As a combat veteran myself, I know that not many people other than my immediate family know any stories that I connected with personally or hardships that I had while I was in uniform. So a lot of history is yet still untold. This is one of the ways that the GI Film Festival is making such a huge difference in telling those untold stories.
In Their Own Words is one of 6 documentaries screening at this year's virtual showcase. The film interviews some of the surviving Tuskegee Airmen.
Tuskegee Airmen were the first African-American fighter pilots that served in World War II. Just a brief summary of them. This was the first time that African Americans were given the opportunity to serve in officer roles. It was sort of a test by the Air Force, the Army and the Air Force. Along with other units, the military was desegregated in 1948.
The film was co-directed by Denton Atkinson and Brian Williams.
One of the things that we realize is that these were the precursors to Rosa Parks. To Martin Luther King Jr. I mean, these men paved the way for them.
The film gathers remarkable personal stories.
Boom, I look up and there's a hole on top of the canopy, and fire came up out of the floor. I landed right in the middle of the guys who shot me down. So I spent 9 months in Germany as a POW.
Although they might not have seen themselves as activists, the Tuskegee Airmen helped change America. The San Diego Italian Film Festival has made activism this year's theme.
And so we selected the movies having in mind this general theme, activism. This year is an election year. We really believe that everybody needs to do their part. But our movies are not going to be just about politics or immigration, but also about art, also about disability, also about gender inequality, also about inclusion.
The festival opens on Thursday with a film titled It Will Be Chaos, which seems all too fitting in a year of a pandemic and social unrest. Another film with a title that challenges you is Normal.
What is normal anymore, but also it touches upon a concept of normality related to gender stereotypes in Italy, and it's very experimental. So our audience really needs to go into it having not just an open mind, but just thinking, okay, this is going to be something that I would not expect from a normal movie.
The festival also wants to challenge audiences to reconsider what normal means in terms of art and cinema. The film Michelangelo Infinito, for example, shatters the traditional documentary form in order to create a dynamic portrait of the Renaissance artist.
Activism is, of course, about social justice, but also about art, because art has the power to transform our lives and has also the power to transform an artist's life. And we're going to see and experience that for Michelangelo.
And redefining what an Italian perspective can be is a film about a Muslim man called Bangla.
It deals with identity identity in terms of where your traditions from your family, where you're born, where do you feel you belong, and the struggle between that.
Films are available Thursday through Saturday each week in October. There will also be a Zoom discussion each following Sunday morning. The early start time is to allow filmmakers with a 9-hour time difference in Italy to join the conversation. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
Now, a recap of our top stories. San Diego County is putting new resources into helping schools reopen. Starting tomorrow, new dedicated testing sites will open in Chula Vista and San Diego for school staff. Free county testing for children has been expanded to children in grades K through 12. As for the latest numbers, today 2 more deaths from the virus and 194 new cases were reported. And San Diego Unified, the county's largest school district, will bring thousands of high-need students back to campuses starting October 13th. In the next phase of reopening, the district hopes to reopen all elementary schools and welcome back high-needs middle and high school students. And San Diego State University announced a small number of in-person classes would resume October 13th. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Have a great evening.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, proud to support the mission of KPBS and privileged to serve San Diego clients. Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, helping homeowners maintain drain, heating, and cooling systems since 1978. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.